Jemele Hill in 2018 is, quite frankly, who Jemele Hill was in the early 1990s. She has always been about making sure that journalists, especially young Black journalists, have a seat at the table.
There's something about those that are considered the best, the greats, that can always take you to another level. Not just the surface, but just one more, and then another, and another. And she gets so granular that you have to respect her opinion because it's thought out, and she's not just saying anything that just, you know, for a hot take, if you will.
As accomplished and as exceptional and as brilliant a reporter and journalist and commentator, yes, she is. I mean, she's a better friend.
When Jemele sent out the infamous tweets, she was really just expressing a very genuine, honest emotion. You know, that's who she is. She's someone who opines off of the news. And I think that's what she thought she was doing at that time.
When people tell me that they think I'm courageous, or they ask me, what made you do it, or why did you decide to, it was called Wednesday for me. It was like I was just speaking my mind. And so the fallout from all of that is where I think my upbringing, the city I'm from, how I was raised in this business, the mentors I had, that's where all of that comes into play.
What Jemele was saying tapped into what a lot of African Americans were feeling, and they didn't want to see her being persecuted for putting out in the Twitter space something that people were probably talking about at their dinner tables.
You know, and when she was, you know, the face of this controversy, you know, on every news broadcast and in the line of fire like that, it's like, you know, it was oftentimes I had to lean on her.
It still is something about today's society where you find it very difficult for a woman to have an opinion, you know, an affirmative, smart, well thought out opinion. And I think that Jemele does that. She's one of the best to do it.
It's almost like you're not doing your job unless you kind of rub some politicians or those in power the wrong way. It's kind of the hallmark of our profession, is that you're supposed to hold them accountable, and you're supposed to bring awareness to maybe things that they'd rather be kept quiet.
The things that she's talking about and the issues that she's raising on social media, Jemele has been doing this forever, and I don't think she's ever going to stop.
Hold on now, hold on. The Journalist of the Year award recognizes a Black journalist who has...
Detroit in the D. I'm so sorry, I can't.
All right.
NABJ, National Association of Black Journalists 2018. Detroit in the D. I'm so sorry I can't be with you. My heart is with you. But I tell you what, I could not let this moment pass without celebrating your next Journalist of the Year, Jemele Hill. Jemele, I get goosebumps thinking about you. You've been through a lot. You've told the truth. And the reason why we are in the positions that we're in, because we have an understanding of what truth is, and everyone does not put that on the table. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for your stamina. Thank you for your fortitude. Thank you for your grace in telling the story that needed to be told in a realm, in an arena that doesn't always get it right when it comes to African Americans. Jemele, you are the NAB Journalist of 2018. Last year was a great year for me. NABJ supported me. But I want you to take this and understand you stand on the shoulders of greatness, those who came before us. And you are our current, who is going to propel the next generation of reporters. Be strong, my sister, because they're going to come after you like they do me. Be strong, hold the mantle, and walk like we walk, because we are girls who run the world, girls. Congratulations, Jemele. Thank you, NABJ. It's been a wonderful
All right,
ride.
now.
Jemele Hill.
Everybody get on your feet.
Journalist of the Year.
Now.
Peace.
Get on your feet.
Now. Yeah.
For our Journalist of the Year, our friend and Detroit's own, Jemele Hill.
They don't let me get up on stage.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I promise I'm not going to keep you guys long because I got a lash that won't let me be great right now. And just like Nichelle, I have sports tasks, party voice as well. That's what happens when you hit that international players anthem a little bit too hard. But I have a lot of people to thank. And I kind of don't know where to begin. It was a reason I didn't really prepare a speech because I wanted to live and be in this moment and feel this emotion. First of all, I'd like to thank NABJ. I joined this wonderful organization the last time it was in Detroit in 1992. And the reason I joined it was because there was a high school journalism program run by the Detroit Free Press. And there was a woman named Dr. Louise Reed Ritchie who marched us over to the NABJ convention and made us all join. I had no idea what I was joining. I knew the purpose, had a little bit of knowledge about it, but I didn't know that I would be standing here 25 years later with an organization that not only helped me grow professionally and personally, but became truly a second family for me. And so when I went through everything that I went through, some of the first calls that I received were from a lot of people here at NABJ, from Sarah Glover to numerous members, my brothers from the Sports Task Force. They held me down in ways that I can't even begin to describe and tell you. Of course, we all know that when things are going great and when everybody loves you, that everybody's in your corner and they're ready to support you. It's when you go through a battle that you really find out who loves you, who's with you, who's down, who's your ride or die. And NABJ is my ride or die. I also want to thank the Detroit Free Press. That was the city, or that was the paper rather, that raised me as well. I started working at the Free Press when I was 16 years old. I interned at the Free Press. I spent 6 years there as a full-time staff writer covering my alma mater, Michigan State. And I met so many wonderful journalists. Bob Magruder was one. Bob Magruder, to date, my easiest salary negotiation ever. I gave Bob a number. He was like, all right, and gave me my first signing bonus. So shout out to Bob. But I love Bob Magruder because he was an example of everything that journalism should be. And for him to be a black executive, someone for all people to look up to, but especially for young black journalists, it was very special that he took an interest in my career the way that he did. But the other wonderful thing about the Free Press is that they also had plenty of women who I could look up to, who mentored me, who took me under their wing, who did incredible things for me, and most importantly, gave me a sense of place and of belonging. One of which is here today, Rachel Jones, who is one of my first two mentors. She took this girl at 16 years old, perm not quite right, and helped her mature into the person that I am today. I also like to thank Michael Smith, my co-host. We've been through a lot together. It was an exciting last 13 months, to say the least, in between my struggles, what happened with the 6 o'clock Sports Center, but Mike held me down. He's another ride or die. And throughout all the turmoil, all the struggle, he was such a listening ear and a great sounding board, so I can't thank him enough. I'd also like to thank some other folks who are here with me today, and one of which is not, who I'll get to that a little bit later. Thank you to Evan Dick, my ambassador, Aquan, my agent, my manager. If you're wondering who's this white guy walking around here, it's Evan. Don't call security on him. And you'd be happy to know, Evan, I have the CAA notes with me, so I'm sure you'll appreciate that. I'd also like to thank my family, and that starts with my grandmother, who has passed. She was somebody who gave me my stubbornness, taught me how to eat weird food, also taught me how to play poker and cards, which my mother didn't truly appreciate as well, taught me how to bowl. So a lot of the strength I definitely get from her. I'd like to thank my father, who is here. I like to think I get my sense of humor from him, but also his level of quiet thoughtfulness. I'd like to thank my stepfather. You know, everybody who has been in a blended family knows that it's not always easy, but my stepfather has been a great support, so I'd like to thank him as well. Also, my mother. I have a lot to say about her, but I'm going to try to keep this short, Mom, and try not to make you cry. Thank you, Mom, for praying for me, for weeping for me, for loving every one of my numerous imperfections. Thank you for everything. And even sometimes when you think I'm not listening, trust me, I'm listening. I'd also like to thank the rest of my family and my friends who are here. They didn't have to be here. They decided to come, and I truly appreciate you all. I'd like to thank the previous winners. Looking right at Roland Martin, a journalist who I've looked up to, April Ryan. For her to say that about me is unbelievable, because being one of the few, maybe the only black person covering the White House right now, I can only imagine her struggles. The fact that I'm now in a long legacy of these incredible winners and journalists of the year is something that is blowing my mind as I stand before you right now. I also like to thank all the honorees. You are wonderful, you're talented, you're brilliant, and you deserve to be acknowledged on this stage here tonight. As April Ryan so eloquently said, that we are standing on the shoulders of somebody. I think over the last year, my shoulders have gotten pretty tough. And there's one wish that I have, is that younger journalists that come to this convention, I want them to know that you can stand on my shoulders anytime. And finally, last but not least, I'd like to thank the city of Detroit. I know it's a city, it's hard to thank a city, it's an inanimate object in some respects, but the city of Detroit, as was mentioned earlier, it's important that you guys understand how vital, critical, and important that we are here at this convention in this particular city at this particular time. Detroit, for many years, for most of my growing up, was never in the news for anything good, ever. We were the national joke. We were laughed at. We were mocked. We were disrespected. People didn't think that we deserved nice things. People have rooted for this city to fail for a very long time, and we're still here, we're still standing, and we're still resilient. I take a lot of my toughness, a lot of my character from this city. I wouldn't be anything without this city. And so I just want Detroiters to know, this city to know, thank you, and I'll love you always. And thank you, all of you, for being here tonight. This is a very special moment. I'm going to get off the stage now because this lash is like, look, girl, you only got about 5 more minutes. But no, in all seriousness, this is the most exciting thing that's ever happened to me in my career. Exciting is probably not the right word. Most emotional thing, the highest honor I could have possibly received, because it came from NABJ and it's in my city. So good night, and thank you guys.
Something else. Hold on.
You got a little something here. I got you, baby. Okay. I think there's a little special presentation that they want to give to you. Jamel, Sarah Glover has something for you.
Oh, thank you. There's a tradition that the president buys a picture from the VTF auction, so I was pleased to purchase this and give it to you.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, your Journalist of the Year, Jamel Hill.